Welcome to Chalk Talk. Rob Valore there. I'm Andy Billman here. Let's pick up your sticks. And if we make select, be gentle. Gentle. As my partner would say, we took it on the collar. Quarterback. Who's our name? We'll talk about it. A lot of news. I can already see where this offseason is going to go. We're going to be analyzing all sorts of throws from all the games. I'll get to what we saw this week. We'll recap the AFC NFC Championship game, Kansas City Eagles, and then we will also talk about a little bit of early thoughts about Super Bowl. Cavs. They won again. They've now won back-to-back after losing 3 straight in a row. The injuries, though, are mounting. Merrill's the latest. He's now on the injury list, so we'll talk about that. No Wade for a while, by the way, which I think is a bigger injury than what we think. And then finally, we will finally relive the Buckeyes in our name games. I promised that from last week, and today we will do it. But first, the quarterback round robin is on fire. You can listen to any sports talk. You can listen to any notes from any of the favorite sources you like to read. And the quarterback is the main headline, as it should be for a Browns fan, right, Rob?
Absolutely. But, okay, Andy, what do you think? What is your thought before? Because I have a whole opinion here, but before I roll it out, right now today, if you're Andrew Berry, D. Podesta, or D. Haslam, who are you picking?
Seeing from what I'm reading and what I watched with my own eyes, and I don't have an ear to the ground like Rob does probably, and he'll give us some good stuff. And I'm not as glued in as I used to be. I mean, I used to have ways to find out what people are thinking. I don't use those as much anymore. From afar and reading a bunch of articles and taking a look at what I'm seeing, if I were the Browns, I would take Travis Hunter. That's what I would do. And Travis Hunter, by far, and he's being graded that way, is the best player in the draft. There's a bunch of comments about Carter lately. Carter's another guy being really well thought of as a big-time player in this league. I'd have no problem with your draft pick. I would go that way. I think the quarterback situation, which it was going in as it goes going out, is murky. My one comment. Senior Bowl practices do not determine the draft.
No.
Bo Nix was terrible last year. Bo Nix had a really bad Senior Bowl week.
Yeah.
How did he do?
Yes.
That's my reference point, and I'll leave it there.
Thank you. Okay. This is one of the many reasons why I enjoy talking and working with you, because you hit the nail on the head, and here's where I was going to go. I think what the Browns said to Mr. Garrett was, we are close, and here's what we are going to do. We are going to stay at number 2, and we are going to take what we think and what a lot of people think is the best player in the draft. And they are going to take a man who will wreak havoc, Abdul Carter, and they're going to put him on the other side of Myles Garrett.
Yep.
Now, just imagine that, okay?
Yep.
If you put Carter on one side and Garrett on the other. So, Andy, it's so easy to get Myles to buy into that. Okay?
I agree. And I'm going to add one caveat. Hold your thought.
Go ahead.
Think about this, too. And now Alex Wright and McGuire are your backups. So now you have 4 legit ends, because I really believe McGuire and Wright are backups. So now you got places. It's not just front row. You got a backup that I like. These 4, pretty good. All right, continue.
Yes. Okay. While I do feel, and I do not want to downgrade Travis Hunter, he is fantastic.
Yep.
But can you see the Browns? Andy, can you see the Browns totally? We can screw up a shit sandwich. I mean, they won't know. They'll put him on offense for 3 plays. Then he'll be playing. Then he'll be playing on defense. They won't know how to use the guy properly. I think get Travis Hunter out of our head. Let's do the smart thing. Forget about taking. So here's what I think they did. They sat Garrett down. They said, Myles, the smart move to make. We're gonna bookend you and Carter. We've got a solid defense. Now they probably gave him a list of 3 to 5 quarterbacks. There's no way they got Garrett to buy in that we're close and we're going to win if we draft Ward, Sanders, or Milroe and we start them. It's a rebuild.
It's a rebuild.
So that tells me, and I don't want Cousins. I'm going to reluctantly say it because I think he's shot. But it tells me they're going to have somebody, and I don't want Flacco either. I'm hoping for reluctantly Danny Dimes. Give me, I don't want Sam Darnold because we know what happens. Sam Darnold may lead us to, he can lead us to a great regular season. And then what happens? Then he starts seeing ghosts like he saw in Minnesota. So I don't want Sam Darnold. Do you want Justin Fields? I mean, we could talk about who you want as a quarterback, but the rookie quarterback, which I do think they will draft, I think you can get later on. Well, whether it's Gabriel, Will Howard, whether it's one of these other guys,
Ward.
But Ward, where are you taking Ward?
I'm sorry, I said McCord. No.
Oh, McCord. Where are you taking him at 33?
If I were the Browns and he were there in the 4th round, I would take him. Kyle McCord is worth a 4th round flyer, late third round.
Okay, now I don't want to get too far off the tracks here, but you know what would be sickening to me is if somehow Jack Sawyer ended up being a Pittsburgh Steeler or a Baltimore Raven.
That's a good player.
Oh, yeah, would that be?
Yeah, I mean, that would be devastating. That'd be a gut punch. When it comes to the veteran quarterbacks, I actually do have a much stronger feeling there. And I know it's going to rankle you. I do think Cousins is going to be the guy. I think Cousins is going to slip in there. I've been a fan too long. There is no scuttlebutt about anything. And It just tells me they're just sitting and laying low for Cousins. They are now. Milroe is the interesting guy to me. Sanders, we can debate forever, and we will debate forever. There's little tea leaves. I wouldn't say much. Cam Ward's winning awards, so we don't know much about him right now, what's going on. And we don't know what the Titans are doing. So let's go to Milroe. There is a part of me who wonders if the Browns are throwing smoke to show all this love for Milroe, to throw distractions at people, to think that they'll actually be taking him there. Right. I don't think the Browns are going to take Milroe.
I agree.
I don't. By the way, I don't think they're going to take Jackson Dart. I think the Browns realize there are players here to take that actually have good talent. Like, here's an example. There's also the famous trade down, which is a possibility here, right? Mm-hmm. If the Browns are going to trade down, even they got something crazy, which the Browns have done. People, they do crazy stuff and trade down. Let's say they trade down to the middle of the 1st round. They could do that. I can see that easily. If they took the tight end Warren out of Penn State, I'd be pretty happy. That kid can play. He's like a good player, and that's like a middle of the 1st round pick.
I love that kid. And I love that pick, but I don't think that makes Garrett happy.
You know what? I think Garrett's happy with wins. And if I were the Browns, okay, I guess I'm going to take it back from my original point. You want to win games, Travis Hunter or Carter? It's one of those two. Take Carter or take Hunter. They're both getting rated out of the ceiling right now.
Okay, so back to my point. That's why I think it's Carter, because Carter, you know where you're going to play him. The Browns can still screw up a shit sandwich. What do the Browns do with Travis Hunter? Are you going to play him on both sides of the ball?
I actually would do 2 things with Hunter. 1, he's a wide receiver. 2, special teamer. Make that kid return kicks and return punts. We need some special teams eliteness. He could give us a spark. And my God, I would love to have a spark at special teams. That's what I would do. I would tell Hunter, we're not going to play much at cornerback. Could we do it like 5-10 times a game? Sure. On a day where we could maybe be like, hey, do you have something in your legs? Can you help us out here? So we got a player hurt. Yeah, I can see that. I don't think it's going to get that razzle dazzle. And in fact, I would advise him, I don't think that's good for your career. Here's what is good for your career. Play a wide receiver and get open, please. The Browns need players like that. Going back to Carter, I'll tell you another player too, outside of Carter, now that I'm thinking about it. The kid Graham, too, out of Michigan, makes a lot of sense because Mike Hall's hurt again. And truthfully, that defensive tackle position has just been a big problem for too long. And if the Browns were taking someone like Graham, that makes sense too. The thing that I'm taking, though, out of this quarterback thing that I would advise everyone, I would not go onto these videos and watch stuff. Again, I read reports from last year to give me some briefings on where we're at. Nick's got torn apart during the Senior Bowl. He had a very good rookie season. Even Jaden Daniels didn't perform well one day at the Senior Bowl. Yep. No one cares. Okay? So don't get too far in the weeds of that. The one that there's three names. So that's where I'm at. I actually don't think as of today, Milroe, the more and more we get into it, I actually don't think Cam Ward and I don't think Sanders. Now, I think things can change. And I want to bring this up. Because of the Haslam factor, things can change here. He has a cocktail Deion Sanders. Next thing you know, he's going to draft Shaduro. That's stuff happens with the Haslams. Now, the other thing that I recognize with these quarterbacks that I'm seeing is that because they're down there deep, I think they might take a funky pick that maybe we're not even thinking of.
I was just going to say, can you see us taking a quarterback that we're not even – I'm not saying Curtis Rourke, but can you see us taking a quarterback that nobody's even talking about?
Yeah,
the kid from Memphis or the kid from
the goofy Canadian kid, like as an example.
Kid, yes.
Yeah, and by the way, who's very analytical minded. I will say this though, I think people are being way too hard on these quarterbacks. They're not as good as last year. Well, last year's draft class was getting banged around too, outside of Mr. Williams. So to be fair, I don't really want to hear about how people are disputing that. That said, I do think the Browns, Carter, Hunter, Graham, trade down, more on that road right now. That's what I would do.
Now you know that Elgersma, whatever the Canadian's kid's name, he's learning the 11 on 11 on the fly.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, out of all years, the Browns and specifically Bubba Ventrone are getting a bird's eye view of all of these players. And by the way, these kids, they're raving about Ventrone. Andy, we must be all wrong about this guy.
No, I'm not. How were special teams last year?
They were awful.
Then that's all we need to know.
Maybe it was they gave him maybe they gave him shit to work with and he couldn't make a tuna sandwich out of it.
Rob, the special teams were very bad.
They were awful.
I'm glad to hear he's getting good remarks. He clearly gets along with players within the game. Fantastic. Fucking get it up on special teams, please.
He has got to, because these kids, you hear them on TV, they're raving about this guy, and he's going to be a head coach. But his performance has not shown me otherwise.
I'm sorry. I got to do this to the guy. Special teams were dreadful. There were moments where they were embarrassed. And this is a guy who talked a lot of stuff before the season. Fancy plays. We're going to do all this razzle-dazzle. Browns couldn't field a fucking punt.
Yeah.
I Bubba Ventrone and the special teams, disappointing is not the right word, dreadful.
Yeah.
They became the enemy of the estate. And that's, I just can't, I don't know what else to say. And again, if the guy didn't chatter so much about it, I probably would be a little more lenient. All the guy did was talk and talk and talk.
They talked a big game, and they couldn't. They sure as hell couldn't back it up.
Yeah, I mean, nice guy, sure. Doesn't mean he can coach a team. So I think that's where we're at. Here are some names that are being mentioned in early mocks. I will say, if you take a look at all the mocks, my God, there are hundreds now. You know, you see Hunter a lot with the Browns, but here are the main big guys, right? Hunter going for the Browns is through Kuiper at ESPN. We definitely see a couple with Sanders. NFL.com lists Carter. Yahoo lists Cam Moore, by the way. So the one thing that is not easy for us, in a couple years ago, or not a couple years ago, a few years ago, it was pretty easy. It's Carson Wentz or Goff. This draft is not that way at all. This is a big mystery pot.
Yep. Hey, real quick. How about Carson Wentz as your Cleveland Browns quarterback next year? What? He may have more left in the tank than Cousins.
I was so unimpressed with him in Philly. Can't do it. Or Washington. Remember that Washington game? Guy's awful. He was really bad. I can't do it. I'd be really upset if they took Carson Wentz. I'd be really upset. Bad quarterback. Bad. Mm-mm. I don't want Wentz, Winston, Jacoby Brissett. I'm good.
No, but if they bring Jacoby Brissett back, I mean, no. Other than if you bring Jacoby Brissett back and say, okay, guys, he's our backup, then, okay. But, I mean, I'm telling you, I would be happy with Daniel Jones. I would be happy with Daniel Jones. I would be could you resurrect Zach Wilson? No, I don't know. I love Sam Howell. Nobody loves Sam Howell but me. But I think the kid can throw the ball, but he doesn't have a lot of experience.
The thing I'll learn about these things, like Sam Howell, Daniel Jones, is a lot of these get washed out. And then a few of them become Kerry Collins. A few of them become guys who actually make careers for themselves. I mean, there are long shelf lives. Like, honestly, Geno Smith is a quarterback that came from this kind of pile. He's made a nice career for himself.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I mean, there are quarterbacks like Sam Howell. You can't poo-poo it all the way. I can't poo-poo even Carson Wentz because Geno Smith at one point looked terrible. And he's resurrected his career. So, I mean, it does happen in the right system. That said, these are what I see things. I just think it's Kurt. Real quick, back to here's the loaded question. Nobody really knows what the hell Tennessee is going to do because Tennessee needs everything. And Will Levis, I don't know if anybody really thinks that, if you told me, if I'm interviewing you and you told me that you put mayo in your coffee, I would really start to question, are we going to draft this son of a bitch? Right, without reason. Because I do weird things in my coffee. I put lemon in my coffee. You know why?
Oh, another goofy bastard.
That by the way, you know why? It helps you shit. And I like.
Oh my God.
So I put lemon in my coffee. My wife thinks I'm the biggest weirdo. I don't care. But see, there's a reason behind it.
But lemon is one thing, but the mayo in the coffee. But
no reason. But like,
if you can get Levis to, but Levis, is he going to be Jameis Winston? You just can't get these guys to stop gunslinging.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee is so bad; it's hard to decipher the rubbish.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. It's like I've watched a lot of them. Like here's another example, and this is why it is sports. You got to give people a chance. At one point, Bryce Young's about ready to be thrown off the island. I mean, he was about ready to get slingshotted across the globe.
And the only reason why he got back in there is because the Red Rifle got into a car accident. Dalton got into a car accident.
But look what he did. And now he's playing, and now no one's debating. So it is goofy. I just love the thing that I do laugh at, and I'm laughing now, is people going like, I'm a Milroe guy. He had a bad day. So that means I had a bad day. It's like, oh my, relax. Jeez Louise. Like I do think that stuff's getting silly. One more name, and I'll get to the next few topics here for the Browns and AFC Championship stuff. I do find Gabriel fascinating because I really like how he plays. I know he's 5'10". I know. And that's so short. I know. Kid can play. I don't know what to say about the height. He's just underneath 5'11". He's 5'10" and something.
And he's a southpaw.
He is southpaw.
he has a problem with when you're short. You have a problem throwing the ball over the middle of the field.
Of course,
you have to get that kid out of the pocket. You know what I'm saying?
After
And let me back something up. What people don't realize about Sanders, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about, Shedeur Sanders, Andy, is not a mobile quarterback.
No, he's not.
I don't care he's not mobile. He stays in the pocket too long. He does not have the quickest delivery that I've ever seen. Okay? No. One thing about Gabriel can get rid of the ball quicker. I do like now see Sanders, if you're comparing guys, Sanders does have the game. He does have because his dad was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He does have that gamesmanship, that instinct.
If you have a big running game with Shedeur Sanders, I'd feel good. Because Sanders 3 or 4 times a game is going to light one big. He can do it. If you give him time, guys open, Sanders is going to put it in there.
But Sanders, I feel, is a good intermediate passer. I don't see him throwing
he did it
20 to 25 yard. I just can't see him throwing the 50-yard bombs. But how many guys throw that ball? Have to.
Well, I saw him do it at Colorado to Hunter. I mean, the guy can do it. He can launch it.
Okay.
I just think Sanders is one of those guys, like, when the time's right, it's like he can let it fly. Cam Ward, every time I saw Cam Ward play, he didn't play well. So I don't have the best advice on Cam Ward. I'll throw one more name. I'll throw it in there again because he did play much better. I don't know how to value McCord. And I was not a McCord guy when he played at Ohio State. I thought he was dreadful. That said, he did bounce back. He had a nice season. He was a highly recruited kid coming into college. I kind of wonder about McCord. I'm kind of curious to see what he's got in the NFL.
Here's what I'll tell you about McCord in Syracuse. The kid was accurate. He threw the kid threw for 1 million yards, but when you're in Syracuse, you're not playing the same competition that you were in Ohio State. Now, no, I mean, Ohio State, your offense last year, what is he? He's 6'3". Let me see here. He's 6'3", 224. He's a pocket passer. He's a guy that has to play, he has to play in from what I remember about Syracuse, he was one of those guys that they would get going and he would play well in rhythm and they would get going. And he was a nice quarterback. He would know how to, he would know when to touch. He would know when to zip it. Is he worth a 3rd round pick? I don't know. Is he worth is he a 2nd day pick? I would, 4th, 5th. I kind of agree with you. He's intriguing.
He's played a lot better, and he's got the stats that you want. He's just intriguing. Anyways, the kid from Canada.
The only thing about McCord, let me say this. I did see him throw some horrendous interceptions when he was in under pressure in the pocket. But, and I'll end it with this. If you get Andy, if you said to me, you said, "Hey, Robert, you got a choice, DTR or McCord." I mean, it's the
One last note, and I'm gonna hit it hard. The DTR train, you don't hear anything about him. Nothing. Don't hear anything about DTR.
Well, he's under contract, right?
Yeah, but again, I know the Browns well enough to know they float out something about the young man. Nothing. Just don't hear anything about him. Myles Garrett won't be traded. Myles Garrett was named today Defensive Player of the Year by the Sporting News. I think that Garrett story kind of came. He needed to make a point. I think people thinking the Browns are going to trade him. I mean, Barry was asked, so he had to answer. I'm glad he answered directly. We can all move on from this now, right? Like, we're good. Like, we don't need to talk about Myles Garrett possibly getting traded.
Right.
I think it's a dead issue. Right. So that goes to your point. fitting him defensive tackle, defensive end would be very nice. Browns promote Bill Musgrave. That's kind of a quiet announcement.
Real quick, and let me explain this to people. If the Browns trade Myles Garrett to the Detroit Lions for 2 first-round picks and Jahmyr Gibbs or whatever the nonsense, do these people understand that the Detroit Lions are not picking in the top 10, the top 15 in the next 5? You know what I'm saying, Andy? We are not getting primo picks, okay?
Yep.
Myles Garrett, if we were trading him, would want to go to a contender, correct?
Yep. I'm actually going to draw a diagram to help people with this. I'm going to draw a diagram. Draft picks are question marks. That's all they are. They're question marks. They're big question marks. Remember, Mario? You can pick people throughout the draft. You don't know what the fuck they are. You're California dreaming. Oh, right. They'll hit on all the picks. We don't hit on all of our picks. It's a question mark. You're right, too, about your point. But even if you take the Detroit Lions pick at 31, 30, you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
You don't know. You might. I just think I am not as enamored with draft picks as other people are. That's why good for the Browns to get Jerry Jeudy for that draft pick. That actually was a good play.
Right.
That actually made sense.
Because you were getting a player there.
Bingo.
You were getting a player.
Bingo. And that's why don't get enamored with draft picks. I can't say that enough. And finally, teams are getting burned in the NFL for trading good players for draft picks. Ask the Rams. The Rams have been trading draft picks away from ever. Well, they keep making the playoffs.
Yep.
Every year.
Yep. And now, because of our stupidity, we are at a point where we have to draft. We have got to hit with our draft picks, Andy.
Yes.
It's not like we can afford to swing and miss anymore. We have got to hit.
Direct hits. And I'll tell you, direct in the second round. Better find a fucking running back.
That's why you're taking – that's why, to me, it's got to be Abdul Carter, because we can't afford in 25 to take a quarterback that we're not sure is gonna help us with wins.
I do agree with you there. And again, that's why if they trade down, they take the kid Warren. I like it. Warren can play for Penn State. He's a good.
And please give me Scadaboo.
Oh yeah,
Genty's not going to be there. And what's that other kid?
Genty guy. Not Genty guy. Actually, I thought Genty looked really. I thought Genty looked really small against Penn State. Really small.
And there's that other running back that actually graded out better than both of them.
All I can tell you, Scadaboo's a winner. Kid's a winner.
Scadaboo's a winner. Genty's going to go to – everyone's talking about the Cowboys taking Genty, which would
enjoy over. By the way, I love the Schottenheimers. I actually hope Brian Schottenheimer works out. They are nice people. Pat Schottenheimer, obviously Marty passed, but for people who don't know, Marty and Pat Schottenheimer, Marty coached the Browns. This is his son, Brian. They are nice people. I'm telling you, Schottenheimer's one of the nicest people you ever meet. I really just want to wish the Brian Schottenheimer luck. And I hate the Cowboys, but I will be rooting for Schottenheimer. Nice dude, good people. I really hope it works out. And I don't know what else to say other than that. Guy's got a lot of experience, but
just because of his father and growing up, I loved Marty.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know them. Loved Marty.
Yeah.
I hope he succeeds. He's got, he's a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest over there. They're a mess. Jerry's delusional.
They've become what the Raiders were towards the end with Davis. It just feels that way. It feels like deja vu. Yeah. When Al Davis was ready to pass them, there was a funny story I heard. When Al would go to the owners' meetings, he would first wear an all-white jumpsuit, like the jogging suit, and then he would request multiple white towels. And he'd put a white towel on the chair, and he'd have a white towel on his lap. And
my God.
It's so odd. And I remember the Raiders were very bad with him the last few years. I actually think this is where the Cowboys are going to. I in wrong division, just wrong division. Eagles and Commanders are good. I kind of agree with you. Anyways, I will be rooting for him. Bill Musgrave, quarterback coach. See, this is where the Browns are weird. They didn't even really announce it. Like, Bill Musgrave, quarterback coach, just getting promotions. Like, that's it? That's all we got?
I like that guy. I can't believe we haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
I don't know
he was a special assistant to the Browns last year.
Yeah, what the hell's he been doing?
See, that's why I find announcements like this so odd, because I didn't even realize he was on the Browns. I've heard of Musgrave. He's been an offensive coordinator for many teams.
Yes.
I didn't even know he was on the Browns staff.
Yes.
It's like
me either, but I lost my head. But I didn't know he was affiliated with us, but I'm glad. But he's definitely a welcome addition, and I think he will help.
So to your point, good addition to Musgrave, and let's see where we go from here. But again, typical Browns. Didn't even know
what was he doing last year?
I don't know.
I mean, we didn't even know that he was.
It's just so brown. I see. I'm going to get angry. It's just so brown. It's like, but Musgrave's has been hired. Oh, where does he come from? Oh, he's on our team last year.
He was on ours. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Where was he?
Did you say at one point, sir, this isn't going well? I mean, jeez Louise. Like,
hey, real quick, the running back that graded out better than Genty, and nobody's talking about, and he's from Chapel Hill, is Omari and Hampton.
Okay.
That's a kid who between Genty and Scattaboo has kind of went under the radar. And Andy, we need a running back.
Bad.
If we're here talking about Pierre Strong and your best friend Dante Foreman, I mean, we might. I mean, come on.
I can't do it. If you think Porsche drives me crazy, I can't do. And now Dante Foreman on 3rd and 1.
They cannot be. They have to be gone already. They have to.
How the fuck did that happen last year? God, I can't do it. They were so bad. They were so bad last year.
Andy, who in the building says this fucking guy has been inactive for 6 weeks? Ford runs all the way down the field. It's 1st and goal on the 1 yard line. We can go up. Let's give the ball to fucking Foreman.
Who said in July, here's our running back room? Pierre Strong, Ford, who's never healthy. He was healthy last year. Nick Chubb, who is in IR, and we love Chubb. This is loving. Guy's hurt. And then, by the way, they're bringing the power, Dante Foreman.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's like, why?
And nobody wanted Foreman. And why did we continue with this reclamation project of Nyheim Hines?
I don't know. And by the way, who begged, borrowed, and deal to try to come play for the Browns? Kareem Hunt. He begged to come back for the Browns. What's he doing next week?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the Super Bowl. That
we had no use.
It's criminal. I'll use a rock line. Criminal.
That as much as I was and am a Stefanski fan, Kareem Hunt is a fireable offense. Whoever made that decision that we are too good, our running back room is too good to have Kareem Hunt, ought to be ashamed and should be fired, because where the hell are we? And look at what Kareem Hunt
begged to be on the Browns. Begged in August. Anyways,
once again, Andy, we digress. Let's move on.
Bubba Ventrone's a great head coach.
Yeah.
How's the special team? I would be such a dick. How were your special teams, sir? Good Lord. Good coach.
Real quick, Andy, we'll never be a political show, but I heard that the White House, they opened up the press room to all these whatever. You hear that? If the Browns ever opened it up to people like us,
right
could you see that? Holy shit! I'd be getting press credentials.
I'd be like, "What's your favorite pro shape play? Just give me one, whatever you think. What's number 2?
Mm-hmm.
When you see Pierre Strong come on the field, what are your thoughts? First down?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I mean, seriously. Because if I saw him jog on the field, I would turn off my mic and sit down.
What kind of plays do you have drawn up for Pierre Strong and Jadante Foreman on 3rd and 2?
Well, I mean, seriously, come on. Don't fuck with us. Okay. Hey, the places where we want to go. So, Bill Musgrave, welcome back, I guess. I don't know. I guess you were on the team last year.
Good
Can't
for
wait
him.
to coach at quarterbacks. All right.
We don't know who he's going to coach, but we know he's going to coach somebody.
DTR, that's it. All right, AFC, NFC recap. Let's go to the first game because I think this is something that I actually am taking an observation that this gentleman I'm talking to made a big-time observation. I was not on until too late. I know the Eagles won. I wasn't surprised the Eagles won. The Eagles were the more experienced team. It's just that this is so sports in any sport. Young team, inexperience, even with a coach like this, this is the perfect example of DC's a year away. Like I saw it, I'm like, God, this is and I'm going to tell you, I am betting buco dollars on DC next year. I like the vibe. I like the team. I even like Quinn. I'm not a Quinn guy. Like, I like the whole vibe of this team. I can see this getting big. I just want to say that. Like, I the whole time watching, like, year away. Just a year away. Like, they got too sloppy. They made turnovers. Things like that happened. The Eagles ran away with it, but it happens like that in NFC championship games at times. I remember multiple blowouts by the Bills back in the 90s. This shit can happen. It can roll downhill fast. Even in a loss, I was so impressed with DC. That's my big note. It's like I was really, really impressed with the Commanders. I like them. I like them going forward a lot. I do.
Okay. It was obviously the Eagles were the right side. The thing that concerns me about the Commanders is, like we saw this year with C.J. Stroud, I'm always concerned about the sophomore regression with Daniels.
Right.
Now, I was very excited to see Cliff Kingsbury, which bow out of the Saints job, which I don't know who would want to coach that out. They're a mess, but that's for another time.
And by the way, McCarthy wanted that gig, and they said no. So strange.
Good for him to sit out. That's another. He may be your coach in 26, but that's for another time if it all goes south.
Right. By the way, you might be right. Anyway,
but Andy, the Commanders need. Here's the thing that concerns me. Peters did a great job with a bunch of cast-offs, with a bunch of nice guys. He has to now, if they could build on it in the offseason and they could improve. Zach Ertz isn't getting any younger. It's a tough division, and it'll be hard to climb the mountain. But you're right. I think Daniels, that kid is unbelievable. That kid is unbelievable.
He's a winner. The light switches come on.
And truthfully, listen, the Eagles are just a friggin' buzzsaw, man.
They are. You could see it. The game they should have lost was to the Rams. They got, and that happens too. They got out of there. That's why I was kind of on the Eagles. I'm like, that was their escape game. They kind of got out of there alive. And by the way, I think the Super Bowl is tough to pick because I can see the Eagles wanting revenge. And I will say, and I got to give the nod to the Eagles, their defense is not a number one epic defense like the Bears or the Ravens or the Buccaneers. Like, I'm not seeing that. But what I'll say is this. And by the way, those are 85 Bears. I think it's 2000 Ravens and 02 Buccaneers. But I'll say this about the Eagles. They make turnovers. They force the ball to come out. Multiple of those turnovers were forced by the defense. That is something I could see Kansas City running into. I like the Eagles with the whole. I will say too, and his name escapes me for the second. I'm so embarrassed to say this. The running back from Penn State, can't remember his name all of a sudden.
You mean Barkley?
Barkley is really seems like he's on a mission from God to win this.
Unbelievable.
He really does. He's got that vibe. And Jalen Hurts, who is it now? Talk about an example. I was so down on him in Oklahoma. I couldn't stand him. The kid has really grown up in front of our eyes. So it just shows you, I mean, things can change. Because I was so anti
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. What was wrong? He's going 2 Super Bowls. Unreal. So the kid's a winner.
And that was my handicap of that game was if you make Hurts play quarterback, if you make him throw the ball, I like the Commodores' chances. I like their chances to win the game. And he went out and he threw the ball, and they put up 55 on him, and they're probably still scoring. I mean,
But I will say this again: better times after DC. You're not wrong about it. Kansas City. I'm just gonna say it. I know people like to chat about this game. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. I think Rob did too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't surprised by anything that happened. Like, I've seen enough of the Bills to know. I'm going to get to them last. Kansas City's on a roll. I know people don't want to say this. Hall of Famer Mahomes. Hall of Famer Andy Reid. Hall of Famer Travis Kelce. Chris Jones, Hall of Famer. When you have Hall of Famers like that in major positions, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get the Super Bowl a lot. That's what they have. They're a very talented team. I know people call it luck. In my experience with the 49ers, I think it's a great – because they remind me of the 49ers a lot. They just win games. If you let them hang around, they'll win games. And that's what they do. And that's what the Chiefs did here again. And Buffalo, I thought was sloppy. I thought had some moments where they could have tightened up. And honestly, I think Reed outcoached McDermott. And that's the difference in the game. I really do. I think –
Well, so many people are complaining about the calls and the refs and the Chiefs and blah, 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 blah. The Chiefs fatigue is real. I think we should look at it another way. Andy, this is a true dynasty. I mean, it really is a true dynasty.
Agreed.
Real quick, we'll unpack this game. Josh Allen probably should have had 6 turnovers. It was not one of his better games. Some of the play calls were head scratching.
Very strange.
Very strange. And like you said, Andy, Reed and Mahomes, they just know how to win. They don't do anything great, okay? Listen, I had so much action on that game with parlays and this and that, and I thought for sure it was D-Hop. They come out, they're throwing to Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. I mean, they're not to overuse the term, they're playing checkers and everyone else is playing chess. These fucking guys are and here's what I'm going to tell you. Everybody, why are we fighting it? Andy, the Eagles are the better team. The Eagles are the better roster. The Eagles have the better running back. The Eagles have the better this. Their cheerleaders are cuter. The stadium, they got the bigger plane. You name it. The analytics, the this and that. The fucking Chiefs are going to win. I don't know how. I don't know why, but it doesn't make sense. I'm putting my money on until the Chiefs prove me wrong.
I do agree.
And even listen, I'm telling you, the numbers tell you the Eagles should win this Super Bowl.
Agreed.
The numbers tell, but me personally, I'm going to ride with the Chiefs because somehow, some way, and I understand we've all had enough of Mahomes, and he's done a good job of getting a goofy bastard brother out of the way. And we've done a good job of nobody, some people love Kelsey and Swift and all that other bullshit. Some people hate it.
It makes it very Hollywood in Kansas City.
It makes it very Hollywood. But, I mean, I don't – they're going to get the job done. They're going to get the job done.
I agree. Everything you said is right. I'll be betting the Chiefs too. Unlike other years where I was convicted about the Chiefs last year being the Niners, and I was convicted about the Chiefs being the Eagles, this year I'm like Chiefs, but with the Eagles' ability to turn over the ball, I do see a possibility where they can win that way.
The Eagles, I'm telling you, as a sports fan, as a sports handicapper, as a sports bettor, as a sports investor, Andy, the Eagles should win the football game.
Yeah.
The Eagles are the more talented roster. The Eagles have the better stats. The Eagles have the better offense. The Eagles have the better defense. I'm telling you, you love analytics. The analytics will tell you the Eagles should win this game.
I actually love emotion and story. I'm not an analytical guy. I like analytics to use.
No, I'm just throwing that Deep Podesta shit in there.
Okay.
That's all. Go ahead.
No, and that's why I like the Chiefs. I can tell the Chiefs play on, all right, you're going to take away Kelsey, Buffalo? We'll go to Brown. We'll just do things to beat the other way. And that's what sports should be about. So what are you going to take away? All right, we're just going to do it this way. And that's why I appreciate about this. I don't have Chiefs fatigue. They don't bother me. I had Patriots fatigue. I had Cowboys fatigue. I don't have Chiefs fatigue. I mean, I don't like it. I'm a Browns fan, but I'm not like, I can't stand it. Again, it reminds me of the Niners. I didn't mind the Niners. I don't mind the Chiefs. That's all I can say. Yeah. The Montana Niners, for people who are referencing. I just didn't mind it growing up. I don't mind seeing the Chiefs like this.
And I don't think there's going to be 750,000 props. I wouldn't be surprised if Kelsey retires, but I don't see him proposing to her. I just don't see their relationship where he's going to propose to her.
Not
and at the Super Bowl after they win. I don't see it.
I think he's more down to earth than we think. I
don't see him retiring right then and there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he hangs it up, because I will tell you, I think that he's not getting any younger, and I think it wears on these guys. Obviously it's a tough season, right? But winning 3 in a row would be
remarkable.
And
to a team who has, let's see, what was their gap year? They won a Super Bowl, then they lost to the Buccaneers. I forget who was the gap year now off the top of my head. And then they've now played in 3 straight again. Chiefs are all in the Super Bowl a lot.
Yeah.
They are always in the Super Bowl. They really it's impressive. And again, people got Chiefs fatigue, and I do understand that. I will say, though, they really do earn it. And they take it away. And honestly, I know people don't want to hear this. Chiefs were the better team on Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah.
They were the better team. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Rob's right with all his observations about the Eagles. It's going to be a very good Super Bowl to watch. I think it'll be close. You can probably tell, taking the points in this game is not. I mean, I think it's going to be 1 or 2 points still.
Yeah.
Kansas City. It's not much. All right, so transition. We'll do all the Super Bowl stuff next week. We're a week away from that. It's too soon.
We'll have a ton of action on props, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of fun ones, and I think we should do a little. Yeah, we should do some.
I think we'll do a separate podcast just on that, because we can get like a whole list of them. We can go through them. All right, let's transition to the round ball. Cavs won back-to-back games. They finally win in Miami. When I say that, they don't usually win in Miami. I think the status, this is only their 5th win since the turn of the century in Miami, so it's not a place they're very victorious in. I might have that stat wrong, but it's in that range of like they don't win there very often. Very impressed last night.
Hey, real quick, do you think they don't win in Miami because they go there and they party and they're a little bit like, is that like going to Vegas and then, people don't win in Vegas when they play hockey?
I think it's twofold. I think it's almost like when teams go. I'm actually going to say a third thing. Traveling to Miami isn't quick. It's very far. It's not a quick plane ride. Like, people get misinterpreted by Miami. They go, oh, it's close. It's not that close. It's like a 3 or 4 hour plane ride. It isn't like it's an easy jump in there. So it's never easy to get in and out of Miami. As you can tell, I'm someone who's not a Miami guy. I don't understand the fascination of Miami.
South Beach, I don't love. I love Florida, but I don't love South Beach.
Not my scene. I could hang out in LA, by the way. I like LA. I just not Miami. But back to this. I think that's part of it. I think also too the travel. And again, I think it's one of those, it's a Spoelstra Riley. Riley's a legend. I could do a whole thing on. I'm a big Riley guy.
And I'm a big Spoelstra guy. I love Eric Spoelstra is one of my favorite coaches of all time.
Yeah, I love the competitiveness of Riley. I drink that. He is such a competitor. Look what they're doing to Jimmy Butler. I mean, that says it all. They are very competitive. That said, it was a good win for the Cavs. Tyson showed a lot in this game last night. Porter, I want to make a comment on Porter. Porter is not athletic, but Porter knows how to play basketball. There were 2 plays that really showed me his intelligence. One, there was a shot. The Miami Heat ignored Porter. Porter had enough ideas and gumption to say, you know what? I'm going to get this rebound. 6'2" guy got the rebound clean and put it right back in. Smart hustle. Great job by Porter recognizing you're not going to guard me. I'm going to punish you. If you're not going to guard me, I'm going to crash your boards. That does not get done enough in the NBA. Yeah. Good for him to be like, you know what? You're not going to guard. I'm going to crash. Yeah. 2, there's a layup that was done where he should have gotten taken out. It was a fast break layup, and he took the right angle, and it was a tight window. Watch the replay. And he laid it off the glass quickly and got it in. And I still don't know how he did it. It just shows it's like that play right there most times would have been blocked, stuffed, or fouled. Mm-hmm. Porter got the ball in the hoop. So I'm going to give Porter credit. Kid does know basketball. He's got a high basketball IQ. Because both those plays to me, I'm like, kid understands the game. Like that really, really complimentary. Tyson really grew on me a lot last night too. Kid can play. He's a gamer. He's got some bulldog in him. That was one of my more happier wins where no one wanted to watch it. As I can tell, I liked that win last night. I liked what I saw from those 2 players a lot.
Tough win. Yep. Tough win. And it's funny that you're talking about those 2 guys because as it looks, unless things change, you're going to need those 2 guys to fill in minutes that Jerome and Merrill, LeVert are playing this year because I don't know how you're going to keep them, right?
I am worried about LeVert. We're going to go in that direction. Wade, there's a timetable. Okoro, sounds like it's a shoulder thing. The last game he played, he just looked off. So I'm kind of not surprised.
This is what will derail this team from having championship aspirations. We can't count on Wade. We've never been able to count on Wade. But if we don't have Wade, LeVert, and Okoro,
I agree.
And I mean, we can't. Can we trade them?
Well, to your point, you can miss one of them. You can't miss all 3. Like you got it. And again, I'll say I think Okoro and Wade are on real timelines coming back. LeVert's supposed to be playing.
Something's fishy there. Something's wrong.
Yeah, that one worries me because they were really expecting him to play in the game on Monday against Detroit. He didn't. So
and you're not hearing much. What are they saying?
Now Wade's got a good timetable. Okuro's in that, and Okoro has these injuries. Okoro always misses.
Seems every year.
Yeah, he's very injury prone. He was injury prone too at Auburn. He missed time at Auburn. So it's kind of been a history of his life. But those things are worrisome. LeVert's the strangest. I just don't understand. And they need him. He really provides great energy. Now, that said, I just complimented the other 2. I'm not complimenting the biggest one. All Ty Jerome does is play basketball and score points. That's all the kid does. He goes in the game, scores points. He gets better. I'll tell you, the Cavs are going to have to really take a deep breath and say, can we offer this kid anything to come back next year? Kid can play.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome's a player.
I would almost rather have him than the 3 that you're talking about now that are out.
Next year, I got to look again. I know LeVert's a free agent. And I think Niang's a free agent. And Niang played big last night. I know people get driven crazy by Niang. And, yes, he is the definition of a hot and cold player. He was hot last night. He really played well for the Cavs last night.
But now, you're also Jerome is not going to give you minutes at those. He's not going to give you really a lot of minutes at the small forward, really.
No, but he's a legitimate big time shooter. Like I actually trust Jerome late in games, as does Atkinson. Atkinson's been putting him more in late game situations. I trust Jerome. I really do. I think Jerome can play. And this is not a year where Garland's not playing well. Garland's playing great. Sounds like he's going to make the All-Star team. So, I mean, Garland, all these things tell you good. There's some good here. The season's really going great. I agree with you about the injuries. And to add another one on, it sounds silly. See, this would be a perfect time to be playing Thor. Thor's out.
Yeah.
Injured.
Why? What happened to him?
I didn't get the exact diagnosis, but I saw them, and I was like, geez, he's injured too. And I will say it's a sign. It's not a good one. Knowing Atkinson now, if Atkinson thought Bates could play, we'd see Bates. We're not seeing Bates at all. It's not a good sign, folks. I'm just telling you, it's not a good sign. I was surprised we didn't see him last night.
Yeah. And I was excited, too, because I thought for sure we'd get a little run in Bates. Because I really, some of the stuff you hear about this guy, and this is his second year, although he was, injuries and blah, 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 blah. Because Bates is another one that, Andy, now we're going to, this kid supposedly had a really high ceiling.
Went off the rails in Memphis.
Yeah. Went off the rails, and now, man, we're going to need him to contribute if everything goes the way we're going to need some production out of this kid.
I would advise him if I was in his ear, Mike, you need to start impressing people because you have an opportunity here to play and you're not getting playing time.
Right.
You've got to get on the floor. If you're ever going to get on the floor, this is the moment because guess what? They trust Craig Porter more, and they're right. And Tyson more, and they're right. Like they're not even giving you a sniff.
Well, he just not to. He just looks like he's immature. He needs.
He does.
He's got to mature, and I don't know. You think they got those 17 assistant coaches over there? Hopefully, somebody's mentoring him. And come on, man, he's got the talent. We know he's got the talent. Seeing
Porter, they can develop players. So I'm not going to tell them they can't develop players. Porter's really been developed nicely.
Yeah.
So Bates has got an opportunity. I'm not seeing it. Two more observations about the Cavs. One, the trade rumors are very quiet. I know people are going to bring up Cam Johnson and whip up things. I do trust Windhurst a lot. He was on KNR the other day. And he basically said, paraphrasing, he's not hearing much.
That was hot, and then that just stopped.
It's not realistic. I mean, the Cavs don't have things to give them that they want. And by the way, things they want to give up, people are funny. It's like, give them Jared Allen. Oh, yeah. You're going to give them Jared Allen for Cam Johnson. That defeats the purpose. You need Allen right now.
Right.
You can't do that. So, the Cavs are really, to your point, you almost look at the Nets and go, do you want Okoro, Wade, and LeVert?
Right.
They're not going to say yes. It's like, but that's what you're kind of talking about here. So,
and we don't have. What do we have to offer? Think about this. We can so we can tell the Nets or anybody we could offer you our first round pick in 2031. So we could go look at a seventh grade basketball player because that's what you're looking at. You're given. I mean. We don't have a first round pick till 2031, right?
Long time.
A long time. We don't have, we don't have a lot of bargaining chips. And the guys that we do want to move on from aren't even playing.
They're just not sellable. George Niang for half a year. I mean, do you want that? The only thing I could say, and I don't think the Cavs are going to do it. I think you could find a taker with a couple of second-round draft picks tied to it. Ty Jerome would fascinate me. That kid can play. That is a player. But I don't want to give up.
I don't want to lose him.
I don't want Ty Jerome going anywhere. I want them to re-sign him. In fact,
Merrill, I would give him up first.
Sam, here you go. Take care. Enjoy. Sam's kind of stuck. I know what Sam is now. I want Ty Jerome. Sorry.
Yeah.
that I'll take. Sam Merrill, nice player, nice player. Yeah. He's one of those players too who's hurt right now. And by the way, he's frequently hurt too. So.
And you know, it's funny because when we got Ty Jerome last year, Golden State was all bent out of shape. And I was like, I read an article and I'm like, who gives a shit? And of course he got hurt, and then JB wasn't going to play. JB wouldn't have played him anyways.
No, that's a JB move. He's always grumpy. Yeah. By the way, I hate to say this. Nice man, did a good job. I don't miss him. Sorry. I like Kenny Atkinson. I like him. Very,
but
very
I'll tell you, he's doing a great job with. I mean, the Pistons.
Perfect.
The Pistons were such a mishmash of a roster that they had a bunch of wings. They didn't have point guards, centers. They were just a mishmash of a roster. And he's, I think, but that's what he is. He is a bridge coach to take a pile of shit and turn it into tuna salad, but he's not going to turn it into ahi tuna.
No, well said. Well said.
And you're right.
Buck Showalter of the sport. He gets your team out of the doldrums.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the ring, but he gets him out of the doldrums. And that's what they need to do. Perfect hire. Last thought about the Cavs. When you watch them night out, the big thing, and people are going to go defensive stat, and I understand why, is their defense has slacked off. And last night, their defense was not good in the third quarter, and they gave up a lot of points. Okay. When the Cavs rebound, the Cavs win. And the Cavs last night dominated the boards. And by the way, again, Tyson made rebounds. Porter made rebounds. It wasn't just the bigs. When the Cavs rebound, it's very tough to beat them. It is tough. And that's going to be a big statement throughout this whole run. Rebound.
Don't you think that teams are going to watch film when Atlanta and Houston played us, and they're gonna go off of that? Because if you're physical with us, I mean, Houston, Ime Udoka they're a year away from being really good.
They're dangerous. The only thing I'll say about the Rockets' losses, they made shots they would have won, and I'll say in those losses, see that 3-game stretch bothers me. They missed free throws. They missed multiple. They should have won in Houston. They should have won. They lost.
And another thing about that 3-game stretch, and Philadelphia may make the playoffs now.
Well, they're getting hot.
They're getting hot with, and I mean, but I love Nick Nurse. If that would have been my move, Jeffrey and I last year were we would have loved them to get rid of JB last year and hire Nick Nurse. Yep. Now in hindsight, I'm glad they didn't. But I love Nick Nurse. I think he's a hell of a coach. He may guide them to the playoffs with one arm tied behind his back because Embiid's a pilot, whatever. But
that's the problem. I'll say they have a lot of problems. They could make a similar type run like the Mets did in the playoffs this year in baseball. The Sixers are in a very similar position, and they're starting to make – you can tell they're getting hot. I mean, you can just tell, but they won again last night.
But they're not. I don't think they're going to ultimately go anywhere, though.
No,
do you think Embiid will? You think he'll even if he does get healthy and he plays, what's he going to give them?
I don't know. I mean, I just have learned in sports, teams like that, I would never discount. Wow. Yeah. In that kind of spot, like the Mets, I thought the Mets were so bad in Cleveland. They were so bad. Marte was like taking plays off. There was discussions about what to do, and look, they didn't win the World Series or get to World Series, but they were very close.
They were close. Yeah,
they were close. And can the Sixers go on that kind of run? Sure.
And they did. And like Nick Nurse is a guy that can guide them. He's been there.
Maxi's a player. Oubre's a player. I've always been an Oubre guy.
I love Maxi. And who's the rookie? That son of a bitch is a hell of a ball player.
Good player. Good player. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But no, they have the parts and bits. But we'll see what they do tonight against the Hawks. Hawks are really banged up, as are the Cavs. I know one of their star players is out for the season now with surgery. I know Bogdanovich is out. So they're going to have some opportunities to win this game tonight. Capella's out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, those are – and Capella always kills Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
So now that gives them some opportunities to win. For some reason, Terry Rozier is a good example. He's from Cleveland. Trae Young does great things against the Cavs. I don't know why. He always plays very good against the Cavs. So hopefully tonight that will be different. And then after that, they play again at some home games in the All-Star break.
I've always liked Terry Rozier, and I would have loved to seen him finish his career coming off the bench here, but
he wants to be a Cav. He's mentioned that in the past. So
yeah,
there's a spot for him. I will not do the Buckeyes and Notre Dame again because we have to go. So we'll do that again for next time. But maybe next time we'll get to it because we had to talk about what we'd ask the Kevin Stefanski in the press conference. Rob and I are there. And by the way, I get all their snacks for free.
I will tell you this, that what we will talk about the Buckeyes and very intriguing. I want to go over their quarterback room for 25 because I don't think that they should go into transfer portal. I think they've got the quarterbacks in-house, and I think they're loaded. And game one is against Arch Manning in Texas. What a way to start the year.
Boy, the stick has been – but I will say the baton's been passed. Doesn't mean they're going to win at all. Texas is that team now next year. That's going to have the Ohio State Ryan Day pressure they had this year.
They're going to be better because Arch Manning is better than Quinn Ewers.
I agree. A lot of pressure on Texas to win it all.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Now, they did get a couple of their good, they lost some of their good players, but Manning's better than Ewers, man.
I never understood that. By the way, have you heard anything about Quinn Ewers so far? Nothing. Don't hear anything about Riley Leonard either. Riley Leonard's at the Senior Bowl. Don't hear anything about him.
I don't even want to say he's Tim Tebow.
He's the ultimate Rudy.
Yeah.
He's going to get on some team, but he'll be a third-string quarterback. And he'll win you one game one time, and that's all he is. Nice kid.
Yeah.
Nice kid. He's just not a pro. I don't think Will Howard's a pro either. Boy, there's a lot of debate about Will Howard coming to the Browns. Jeez.
Oh, man, I tell you what. Will Howard, during that run, I think Will Howard made him. So I think Will Howard's going to Will Howard may end up, he's got a big frame. He may end up in Cleveland or he may end up on a roster.
Well, he did the ultimate, one in the cold, one in the sunshine, and then big games in the dome. I mean, that's all you can, he really did have a great run. So,
and I tell you what, if he came to Cleveland, they'd love him right now because he's on, he's on a roll.
Oh, he would be when's Howard getting it? When's Howard getting it? When's Howard getting it?
Yeah.
For a while when I was growing up, it was Eric Zier. When's Eric Zier getting it? When's Eric Zier?
Oh, my God. Eric Zier. I remember that.
And he came in and then he left.
Well, remember when we were all excited about the kid from Akron, Charlie Fry? Holy shit.
I'll tell you the one that I still laugh to this day. The only reason why I can laugh is because I saw the kid in person. Connor Shaw from South Carolina. And then when the Browns started him, I thought they were joking. I'm like, are they really starting Connor Shaw? Connor from South Carolina?
Trying to lose.
Kid can't play. Kid couldn't play in South Carolina. Charlie Fry, nice man. Nice man. May start in the NFL. Seneca Wallace, nice man.
Seneca.
Nice
Seneca Wallace.
Nice man. Nice man. God, there's so many games where he.
Who was the when we had? Wait a minute. When we had the year when we had Kessler and the kid from. Wait a minute. When we were 0-16 or whatever, we had Kessler and was it Kaiser? And we had the other kid that couldn't even throw the ball. Son of a bitch. What was the kid that couldn't even throw the ball?
I forget.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God. That's another one. Oh, let's stop the train there. That's another one. Cody Kessler stunk at SC. Stunk. I am a huge Notre Dame fan. He twice had the ball under a touchdown, fourth quarter, game-winning drive, and looked wretched. Just looked like plays were called to make plays to win. He couldn't get the ball out of his hands to win them.
I mean, we talked about this in the beginning. We could do a show not on Cleveland Browns since the return, best quarterback. We could do the worst quarterback, and it would be a race to the bottom.
Oh, Jake Delhomme.
It would be hard. Jake Delhomme. Oh, he was going to be the savior too.
We played an opening game in Tampa, and he never made it out. I'll never forget that.
Jake Delhomme.
I don't think he got on the ride. RG3. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm excited about RG3.
Oh, and then he played in Philly and he got hurt. That was such a Browns thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh my! And again, how many times? Who's up next? All right.
Yeah.
And what's so demeaning is you just look at him 3 plays in and you're like, oh, we are so fucked. Who? Oh. And DTR is the latest. I was wrong. Kids think.
Well, you were excited for Deshaun Kaiser. I know you were excited for him.
Well, he could play.
He could play what?
Look, we get some wrong. I like Deshaun Kaiser. Look, I thought Brady Quinn. That was wrong.
I thought Brady Quinn was going to be good. He's a good announcer.
He's very good. Got great hair. Cole McCoy knew he stunk. Didn't understand that. Brandon Whedon, the flag drape. That was great.
Mike Holmgren picked him from his couch, laying on his couch. He was 27. He drafted. The kid was 27.
Okay, one more, then we'll end the show. So because I work in Connecticut, I watched Mike and the Mad Dog a lot. And people don't know they were simulcast on Yes Network. So I'd listen to them at work in the background when I was working. And one time they had the scene. It was the voting for the Super Bowl up, and Randy Lerner, who was never around, didn't show up. So he put Mike Holmgren in place to vote for who was going to get the Super Bowl bid. It was a big one because the city of New York looked like they were going to get it, and they ended up getting it. And Mike Holmgren comes up, and everybody's wearing suits or dresses and black, like very professional. Mike Holmgren comes in a Hawaiian T-shirt, like it was unbuttoned, flip-flops, and Bermuda shorts. And Mike Francesa goes, I'm not trying to judge dog, but wouldn't you dress up a little bit for the Super Bowl meeting? He goes, nice call, Mike. What the hell is Mike Holmgren?
How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
He just comes up there, waddles up there with his piece of paper, drops it.
Where the hell was Lerner?
He was gone. And by the way, these are two New York announcers. The next 10 minutes became, well, why isn't Lerner there? Why is Lerner there wearing flip-flops? And I knew right then. I was like, not good. He can't even show up to it's like when your kid skips ice cream day at school. It's like, why would you skip ice cream?
Why would you skip? Yeah. Why would you do that?
And it's like Super Bowl day. Put on a suit. I don't know. Just be competent. Be competent. Not Mike Holmgren. Looked like he just came. As they said, looks like he just came from the bar.
And I know we got to go, but I thought Joe Banner would have been. I thought that would have been a good. I thought Joe Banner would have been a better fit, and I really thought that. Who did he hire? Was it
Lombardi?
I love Lombardi.
Yeah, Lombardi guy.
And I thought they would have had a better run. And I loved Dawson, the guy, but he got fired. He didn't agree with Haslam.
See, this is how bad it is. We hired a guy named Rob Chudzinski to be our coach for a year. Chud's never even been around the NFL ever since. Freddie Kitchens was our coach for a year. Guy's like a quarterback coach somewhere.
Freddie's now he's the offensive coordinator up in Chapel Hill for Belichick.
I think that's awesome. Good job, man.
What about Mangini? I loved Eric Mangini.
I think that's a deeper story. I think he got hit with some bad luck because he was the ultimate reverse person. These people are like, what do you like about the Browns? I'm like, their second line depth is elite. Their first line's terrible.
Yeah.
He built depth, but he had no starters.
He had no starters.
I used to tell people all the time, like, their roster, if you really look at it, it's like, man, 30 through 45 is it was very strong. It's just 1 through 3 was fucking terrible. I used to tell people all the time, like, oh, that's a new guy. I'm like, it's not much of a difference. They're actually the same. So, like, that's like, and by the way, we laugh. This team, it regresses. At least with Mangini, it's like it's about the same. He had all about the same. That was a strange relationship. He did beat the Patriots once in a big game. And to tell you how badly they beat them, the Browns made Brady kneel to end the game in a loss. That's very rare in the NFL. That was like the ultimate, like, yeah, even we know we got our ass kicked. Well, we touched them all, folks. Senior Bowl to Mangini in 76 minutes. You're welcome. Enjoy. Chalk Talk. Click and subscribe today. Down the road, we're going to be making a lot of announcements. And if you go onto Instagram or on YouTube, click on our little shorts. We'll be doing them daily now. We do picks. Again, enjoy the picks. It's like a glass of wine.
Entertainment purposes only.
I don't know if I would put any money up. But if you'd like to know my incorrect pick about Ole Miss, Texas, I'd be happy to tell you. Take Ole Miss. Texas will cover. Maybe
maybe do the reverse of what we do.
The Thunder's up 14 points after the end of the first quarter. You think they should win? And they not only don't cover, they lose. I mean, you can't make it up. Rob there, Andy here. Goodbye, good night, have a good week. Super Bowl next week.
Talk soon.